Hey, it's Christi. Welcome to my bedroom. You can see my bed behind me there, which there's a benefit to having your entire personal life and business life wrapped up in one little room. I mean, I've got the rest of the condo to eat in and the porch to go and blah, blah, blah. But this is where I sleep, I read, I compute, I create, I video. And I've never been in such a small spot before, other than childhood. And there's some pros and cons to it. One of the nice things is that you get to concentrate, or at least I have gotten to concentrate, the items of my daily life into a smaller space, and therefore I've kind of been able to choose the things that are the most important. And one of the things that are most important to me, as you can see here, is making sure that I'm surrounded by beauty and interestingness. I don't think we can put off till later enjoying our lives, because later will never come. There'll always be some reason why we don't have enough money, we don't have enough time, we can't really do that right now. And if I put up those paintings on the wall, then I'm going to have to find the hammer, and what happens if I have to spackle later? Forget all that stuff. Just make it pretty, make it interesting. Put up your art, and if I was to swing around right over here to my desk, you'll see that I have a lot of interestingness stuff over there too. I've got projects in flux, I've got all of my supplies, I have other little knickknacks and pretty things to look at. And I'm a really big fan of surrounding myself with things that are interesting. Those are not superfluous, those are not unimportant, those are not unessential. If we cannot feel joy in our environment, then we're not going to have joy in our day, which we're not going to have joy in our week, we're not going to have joy in our life. So that's my philosophy. If that resonates with you, which it probably does, because I'll betcha if you're watching this, you've got all kinds of knickknackery, art, creativity, possibilities all around you. And if that's not your thing, that's okay. Everybody's different. Everybody gets to have their thing. So whatever it is your thing, please make sure it's surrounding you. All right. So the reason why I'm kind of jumping on here and even talking about this is because I was just thinking about, it's been a little while since I made a video, so what do I want to talk about next? And that's sort of an ongoing thing while I'm trying to decide, of all the different things I could talk about and share with you, what is valuable, what's worthwhile, what would you like to share with me, what would I like to share with you. But I was struck by, as I was kind of getting out of my chair to go do something else, my little shelf. I'm going to show that to you right now. All right, so this is one shelf on a taller little shelf unit, and you'll notice that when we put it together, we messed up, and this raw side is open, which I've been meaning to go back and paint forever and just make it look finished, and I haven't gotten to that yet. So it was supposed to look all lovely like this, but it didn't. Anyway, I have had my various pencils and pens and brushes and stuff all over the place. And as I was revamping and cleaning up and sorting through things, I decided that I didn't like where it was because I couldn't get to things well, which means I wasn't going to use it very much. So I put it here. And I just want you to look at this for a minute. And I guess this is what struck me today and what I wanted to share with you, is because just because something is utilitarian or you're putting something so you could get to it doesn't mean it doesn't have to be interesting. So I want to just sort of describe a few of these things here with the purpose of sort of sharing, show and tell, but maybe that'll inspire you too to do similar things in your studio world if you haven't already. So this is all of my pencils and pens for when I'm doing drawing and doodling, and I've got a lot of brushes too because I do watercolor paints, which are stored on a little different shelf over that away. And I like to put them in mugs like this according to whatever they are. So I've got regular sketch pencils here, and colored pencils and watercolor pencils and blah blah blah. All right, so that works for me. That's my thing. But I like to put them in something interesting. So sometimes I don't have an interesting thing, so I just put them in a jar. That's fine. But these are some neat things. So this is a pot that I got when I was in one of my trips to Japan, and it was a little restaurant, not even a restaurant, kind of like a takeout type place, and they maybe once a week or something, they did an octopus pot special. So they came in these special little pots. It was like a rice bowl that had some octopus and other things in it. And it came in that pot. That was part of it. And after one of the gals got finished, I said, could I, if you're not going to keep it, could I have that pot? Because I just love it. How wonderful is that? So that's what that's from. So whenever I look at it, not only am I reminded of octopuses, which are kind of like my favorite creature, but I also am reminded of a lot of the fun times that I've spent in Japan with a lot of people that are my friends and treated me so beautifully. So it's nice to see that. This is another little mug, and there's another one back here too, which I don't know if you can see, but I picked these up on different trips to the British Museum, and this is William Morris, which many of you will recognize his designs. He was a turn of late 1800s, early 1900s, if I'm remembering correctly. Sometimes dates elude me. He was a designer and artist, and a lot of his fabrics are very iconic. You will see them in anything of that period. But I, again, am not only reminded of his interesting artwork, which I love, but also my trips to the British Museum, which were fantastic. This is a wonderful piece of pottery by a lady named Fleur in Australia, and I went to teach with my buddy in Australia, and I stayed at her studio and did a little teaching, and then stayed at her studio for a day or two. And she does porcelain stuff, and she kindly let me pick out something that I loved. And I've just always loved this piece because of that beautiful coloring. I don't know, it just makes me happy whenever I look at it. This is a little stack of terracotta cheese pots from southern France. I found them at one of the little Grenier, the little flea markets that they do every Saturday or Sunday, I forget, in all over France. But it's a nesting set of cheese. So what they would do, like with a mozzarella type cheese, is at least this is what I was told, is you'd put the ball of it there, and the whey and stuff would drain out through the holes, and stack down to whatever the bottom collecting cup was. And I don't know how old these are, 150 years old or more. You can see that they have had so much use and love over time, and I just adore them. I don't know why. I mean, just because they're beautiful. And I love just looking at them, and I feel connected to another place in time, connected to a rhythm of life that's different than the one I have now. I'm reminded of my wonderful time there in France, and just on and on. It's just wonderful to have. Back, hiding in the back, I've got a horse sculpture from one of my sweet friends from Sweden, who creates a lot of horse sculptures. In fact, I don't think maybe you can see it. Let me move the thing a little bit. I have another one of her pieces right back there, so I really love that, and I'm reminded of her, Eva Marie, and when I see that, which makes me happy. And then just some stones and things. Like, I don't even know where I found this stone, but it looks like it's got a wood pattern on it, like somebody put a decal on it, but it's natural, and I don't know where I got it, but it amuses me so much. And so it lives here. And then this I found somewhere along the way at a store somewhere, but it's pink tourmaline in matrix, and it's gorgeous. So there's porcupine quills and peacock feathers and just other assorted odds and ends. But the point of all of this, besides showing you, because I figured you would like to see this, is that every time I glance at this, I linger for a minute or two because the colors and shapes amuse me, but that lingering makes me feel creative, which makes me want to reach for these things and draw. If the way that we've set up our world makes us happy and brings us a step closer to creativity, then that's a good thing. And that's what I've been trying to do little by little in this little space that I have, is just make it very conducive to being inspired, to feeling comfortable. I actually even make my bed every morning, although it's a pretty sloppy bed making. It just is a sheet thrown over everything. But it makes me feel like my sleeping is done, but it's right there for nap taking, which I think is very important. But it's comfort right next to everything else. I've got flowers and things. It's a wonderful little space. Now, all of you guys have different spaces, and sometimes we think, well, if I only had a big enough studio space, I could really create. And I absolutely subscribe to that opinion. I would take a barn if one was readily available, because more space is lovely. You can spread out so many more of your creative things in a larger space. But don't let a small space stop you, because I'm doing everything in this little room, And it hasn't stopped me feeling creative at all. In fact, it's made me feel more creative because everything has to be around me and I have to be able to get to it so that I can use it. And then I surround myself with things that bring me joy and amusement. I just thought, let me share a little piece of me with you, and hopefully that will make you feel like, yeah, I'm going to hang a few of those things that I've got on the wall or on a shelf or in their own little special place, just so I can look at them and be happy. It's not clutter if you love it, right? And everybody has a different definition of what they're comfortable with. So don't let somebody else's definition define you. However, don't let yourself be trapped in something that's not your preference either. So if you've got a lot of stuff and it's making you feel antsy, number one, figure out why. Is that because somebody else is making you feel bad about it, but you actually are fine with it? Or it feels like there's just too much and you need to straighten it up? And then just wait to see when you get that energy to do it. And in the meantime, put beautiful things around you. And I think that'll help. Anyway, I am feeling pretty jazzed. And in fact, looking at all my pencils and pens made me think maybe I want to do a little bit of doodling and sketching because I love that. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. Bye.